So, I've just finished reading The Children of Castle Rock by Natasha Farrant. What a good book this was. It was a book that I had heard a lot about recently. It's a book that I kept seeing cropping up on sort of top reads for 2018. It's a book that I kept seeing people mention about online, and it's a book that I'd noticed in WH Smith and Waterstones and other sort of book sites and shops. Now, we often talk about whether we judge a book by its cover. Obviously, as the saying goes, we shouldn't. But there's been some really good covers on books I've noticed recently. A lot of covers that I know children in my class have really looked at and thought, wow, I'd like to see what that book's about. Now, The Children of Castle Rock, I would say, actually lets me down a little bit on the cover. It isn't a cover that I think jumps out. It isn't a cover that perhaps sparks my attention instantly. And I know when I took it into class, the children weren't overly sort of excited by the cover. However, this was an excellent example of why you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. It was a truly, truly excellent story. I just popped a little tweet up saying that it was a sort of Enid Blyton-esque story, and it did have that sort of old school adventure feel to it. It centres around a young girl. It centres around a young girl, and excuse my pronunciation here, but a young girl called Alice Misselthwaite. She's a young girl who finds herself living in a sort of tricky situation. She's got a father who, pretty much an absent father. He's always away. She's been fed this story that he's a sort of budding actor and he's going away for work. But either way, he's not a big part of her life. So she lives with her aunt. She lives with her aunt because her mother has sadly died a couple of years earlier. Now, things are fine, but her aunt decides that she wants more for her niece and she wants her to enrol in a wonderful sort of quirky boarding school in Scotland. So Alice is sent to boarding school in Scotland. Something she's not sure about at first, but something that, as the story unfolds, we see that it is something that's really great for her and perhaps allows her to sort of find herself and live life to the full and sort of fulfill those ambitions that Alice's aunt thinks that Alice's mother would have had for her. The story really comes to life when we have the three main characters, Alice, Jessie and Fergus. So two boys that she befriends at boarding school. They're forming a team as part of the yearly orienteering challenge. However, instead of sort of following the course as their classmates are meant to do, Alice is desperate to meet up with her father. She's desperate to meet up with her father, who has arranged to meet her on one of the islands not so far away. So quite a sort of interesting and tricky situation unfolds where the three of them veer off course to meet Alice's father and bring a package to him that Alice is not allowed to open. I won't give too much away. I don't want to spoil the end of the story, but we see so many lovely things unfold. We see the relationship between the three main characters develop. We see Alice grow as a person. We see her confront her fears. We see friends finding sort of areas of strength in themselves that they didn't know they'd had and perhaps filling those weaknesses with others. We see the value of working as a team. We see the importance of hope and belief. We see the sort of the goodwill of people, perhaps specifically the major who runs the school and only sort of asks for the money that people can afford. We see the good of humanity there, but we also see some sadness. We see the loss of Alice's mother. We see the fact that her father isn't perhaps there for her as much as she wishes he would be. We see the sort of strained relationship between Fergus and his parents. We see the relationship that Jessie has with his brothers, which he's sort of longing for more and doesn't quite get. So it has a bit of everything, this book. But it really was charming. It really was exciting. And it really did have me thinking, wow, I wish I was there. I wish I was one of them. How amazing would it be to undergo this adventure myself? I really enjoyed it. I read it in the space of 3 or 4 days. Really good book, The Children of Castle Rock by Natasha Farrant. Thank you guys. Not sure what I'm reading next, but hope you've enjoyed this video and do buy yourself a copy and have a read if you can. Cheers.